Hey, welcome. My name is Alex Michael, and this is where I document my journey to becoming a multimillionaire. And today I kind of want to just talk about the skill of gaining wealth and building wealth, and kind of some lies that I've learned, some snakes in the grass, skeletons in the closet, if you so speak. And the first thing is that diversification, like for wealth building, is like an utter lie. Now, like, I understand why people think that that's the way to get wealthy. It's because you see a bunch of wealthy people and investors and financial advisors, and they say diversify. But the problem is, financial advisors, they don't want to lose your money. So diversification is how you maintain wealth. But if you're not wealthy already, like, diversifying is not going to do anything. Like, what are you doing clutching out and protecting your $1,000, $10,000? Like, that's not going to make you wealthy. Like, you're going to get $900 over, or let's assume 10%, you're going to get $1,000 every year till what? You do that for 100 years, you still aren't wealthy. Like, so, like, that's not going to make, diversification isn't going to make you wealthy. All the people who got wealthy got it by being hyper-focused on one thing that made them wealthy, and then once they had excess, then they diversified because they wanted to maintain that wealth. So wealth creation is made by being hyper-focused and super good at a single thing. And so then that brings us to the notion of focus, right? Because how do you stay focused when everywhere you look, there's a different opportunity or something else, and you see someone else making $1 bazillion doing this, $1 bazillion doing that? Well, we don't see like the decade of banging their head against the wall and getting punched in the face over and over and over by business. To get to that point, we just see, they made $1 bazillion, so I can do that. Yeah, you can do that after a decade of getting punched in the face like they did. And the problem is, most people don't sustain long enough over that decade of getting punched in the face over and over. And so we have to stay focused on a specific thing, and really that's just like the elimination of distractions. That's all we have today. Your phone's constantly pinging you, you get emails, everything is meant to distract you and gather your attention. You shouldn't give authority to other things about how you spend your time. And that's one of the really big things about the Tribe 5 that I'm following with Ryan Moran, is he's like time blocking. If you set out a specific amount of time that you're going to do this without any distractions, then you can stay hyper-focused on that one thing. And that's the point of that, is to eliminate the distractions so you have focus. Which, the whole reason you have focus is because in order for you to improve, you have to do the thing. And how do we improve? It's raw input, like doing the thing, and then any form of improvement at all. Now, Elon Musk talked about, and this is a bit out of context what he's talking about, but he was talking about artificial reality and like whether we're like in the Matrix. And he's like, it makes sense what he said. He said, if you assume any improvement at all, eventually artificial reality will be indistinguishable from reality. And that's to say, if you assume any improvement at all, like you'll eventually get there, right? It's just a matter of how fast and like what time period. So how do you improve faster? How do you bring the future to now? You get punched in the face a lot. You do the thing over and over, but also you avoid the mistakes of other people. And so this is something that Alex Hormozi is really, really big about. It's like, don't invest in the S&P 500, invest into the S&Me 500, which is to say, if you take that same $10,000, you could get that 10% return in the S&P 500, or you could spend that $10,000 on buying yourself a skill that brings the money and earning potential to you today. And so this is something that I've already done twice now, and working on seeing the fruits of that the second time. The first time is I was already a software engineer, but I was like a low earning software engineer. So what did I do? I like literally went back to the drawing board and paid 20 grand for a boot camp so that I could literally double my salary. And that's literally what happened. And so even though I paid $20,000 for that thing, in a single year, I made it back. And the cool thing is that I could continue making that forever and ever into the future, because I made that one-time investment of $20,000. And now if you look at the return to that, that's over 200% return annually forever. Where if I took that same amount of money, 20 grand, I'd just be making $2,000 a year. So the difference is you be scared and just throw it into something that you know is going to happen, and get your $2,000 in the S&P 500, which that still isn't even guaranteed. The stock market could crash. Or you invest it in yourself, in a skill that no one can take away. The government has before, suppose you invest your money into gold or something. The government's, it's like they've been known to do this. Like, hey, we're going to take all your gold. They take real estate all the time. And it's because, this is going to better the community. I'm forgetting the specific word for it, but it literally happens. Anyone could take any material thing, but what's inside your brain and what's inside you can't be taken away. And how do you increase the value of the things that are inside you? And that's increasing your skills. Raw input with any improvement cycle at all will eventually lead to that big outcome. And that kind of brings us to when you're doing those repetitions and trying to improve, it sucks. It feels like getting punched in the face over and over and over. But everything will pass eventually. And it's that while you're getting punched in the face, it sucks. It's awful. And you just want it to stop. But you have to endure it long enough to be good enough. And so you just make sure that there's any slight improvement at all, and you'll eventually get there. There's two sides of that coin of this too shall pass. There's the sucking will happen, but also the highs, the joy, will also pass. And so it's the journey, it's not the destination, right? That's just kind of human psychology. When we hit the big goal, we have this big rush of dopamine, but then, suddenly we're in utter despair because we don't know what the next thing is. We don't know where we're going. And so the people who last the longest and are able to really, really win big, it's because they love the process. They're not focused on the goal. They're just focused on doing the things. Here's the set of actions that will eventually, and the side effect is the goal. Right? Here's a set of actions that I need to do every single day, every day, every week, every month. And the side effect is the goal. That's that if there's any improvement at all, eventually the thing will happen. So raw input, just do the thing, suck at it first, be okay with sucking, but you just make very slight improvements. And then how do we suck less faster? We pay for those lessons from other people, and that's paying for the courses and the skills so that you don't have to go through that long sucking. You can immediately start where someone else is at or close to where they're at because you hire them or paid for them to teach you that skill, even though it's going to cost sticker shock amounts, $10,000, $30,000, $50,000. And that's just what it takes. But you get to earn that next higher echelon forever and ever, as long as you keep doing the thing and the skills you learned. And that's all I got for today. Thanks for watching my soapbox.